It's an interesting movie. It is a very well made movie. However, I did not find it as compelling as watching Kramer's film. And one of the things around this is it is beautifully filmed for most of its time. And I think actually, considering the subject matter, that becomes a problem. If you want a direct comparison, if you watch the BBC film of The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, it is immaculately filmed with Hollywood stylings. And given the subject matter, the grime of life is not brought through as much as possible. So I think the Hollywood aesthetic here is something that jars a little bit with the source material. My general feeling was that the film was episodic. It carries an interesting story, but it might have actually worked better as a three-part mini-series. Certainly the running time of the film suggests that three 45-minute episodes, an hour with adverts, might have actually worked better. Not least of which because you would have had a better opportunity to absorb what was going on and to appreciate the dramatic turns that the film actually presents. Everyone involved with this particular production has put in sterling acting performances, none more than Richard E. Grant in a smaller supporting role as Sir David Maxwell Fyfe, and really the gravitas is brought forward by Michael Shannon, who in everything I've seen has been convincing and a very strong actor. John Slattery as the colonel of the prison also deserves comment. However, I think the emotional heart of this movie is Leo Woodall's performance as Howie Threst. And I won't comment too much on what his character goes through as an arc. But it is emotionally part of the process that you see a transformation, literally the real person that Leo Woodall portrays had to go through a similar transformation as well. And I think there is a point towards the end, and you will pick up the reference, where the verdicts and undertaking or the sentencing, that there's almost a case that the war is over. And how he realises the war will never be over because of the horrors that were perpetrated by the Nazis. So I think the real strength of the film is not in its historical accuracy. I think it is taken as a drama, but where it has the biggest impact is the point where 3 of the US Army films about the camps that were liberated were shown in context as they were displayed to the court in Nuremberg. So for most of their running time, they are front and centre in the screen. They show the literal experience of those who survived the camps and the reaction of the US Army personnel going into them as they saw this travesty of humanity and the crimes perpetrated by the Nazis in running the camps. Those films were, I think, in the Academy ratio, so 1 to 1.33, 3 to 4 if you like, and therefore you just have little bits either side on the widescreen presentation where you get a sense of the horror of those in the courtroom seeing this being portrayed. And if there is a reason to see the film, I think it is that section right at the heart of it. I've seen those films before. None of them are enjoyable viewing. They are very harrowing. But actually putting them in the context of how they were used in a court case really amplified the fact that this was a crime. We use these phrases really without very much thought anymore. A crime against humanity. And I think the film in that particular section emphasised very much that is exactly what the Nazis did to Central and Eastern European Jewry between 1933 and 1945.